are used to hearing Dabo. So thank y'all for letting me be here today. And I just love this group that's been coming. Can y'all hear me? I have such a loud voice. Okay. Oh, yeah. Well, I won't take up much of your time because I know everybody wants to hear about football, including me. But I just wanted to take a minute to remind everybody that Saturday is our breast cancer awareness game. And Dabo and I are so proud that our foundation is partnering with Clemson Athletics, UB, St. Francis, Coke, Tiger Sports Shops, and Tiger Town Graphics to help make a difference for those who are struggling with breast cancer. Breast cancer doesn't just affect one person, it affects the whole family. So our foundation just tries to do a small part to help make a difference in the lives of those that are struggling with breast cancer, whether it's early detection or helping to pay for a woman's mammogram, or just helping to fund research to help find a cure for breast cancer. Currently, our foundation, along with all of our sponsors and all of the great people that give, we are currently helping to fund breast cancer research right here at Clemson University and locally at Anderson University. Our bioengineering department does a great job of just inviting us. I go over there and see what they're doing. They've been working for several years now. They have a whole team dedicated to finding a cure for breast cancer. So that's really, really neat. And then secondly, our funds go to help fund the St. Francis Mobile Mammography Coach. And a lot of you may have seen that. It's a big pink bus that serves 4 counties in the upstate, and it gives women who are underinsured or uninsured free mammograms. So that's what the proceeds from our foundation and our great sponsors, that's where they directly go to help make a difference for those struggling with breast cancer. And this year, we're really excited because we have an easy way for people to help give. It's very, very easy. So starting today, and it's already begun, through Sunday, if you'd like to donate to our cause to help the different groups that I just mentioned, all you have to do is text Dabo, D-A-B-O, to 41444. So that's really, really easy. So you text Dabo to 41444, and you can donate right there. Dabo did it. I did it. Our son Clay did it. It's really easy. So if we can do it, I know anybody out there can do it. You can give $5, $10. It doesn't matter. Every little bit helps. A mammogram's $150. So if 15 people gave $10, that would pay for someone's mammogram who couldn't afford it. So it's really, really easy. And right there, you can do it on your phone. It will send you or email you your tax receipt, so you have it right there. It's really, really easy. And then a couple other ways that we can help give is that people out there can help give, or everyone's in town is selling these breast cancer awareness pins, these pink pins. You can also get them online at Clemson Athletics. They're sold in the stadium. They're $5, and we always sell out. They're such a great cause. And then other ways, of course, we have our clothing by Ubi at Tiger Sports Shops. And so that's always a big hit, and we raise funds through that this month. And then lastly, if these two great models will stand up. Maggie and Wendy, y'all come on up here and turn around. Southern Fried Cotton and Tiger Town Graphics are selling these beautiful shirts. Show the back, girls. Howling for a Cure. They're just awesome. And the proceeds, half of these shirts will go to our foundation for breast cancer research and early detection and helping to pay for women's mammograms. Last year, Tiger Town Graphics wrote us a check for over $10,000 from the sales of these shirts. So if you bought one last year, thank you so much. Just these shirts alone gave us $10,000, which was huge, and we were so appreciative. And all of that money went straight to the St. Francis Pink Mobile Mammography Bus. So that was really exciting. And then lastly, we don't want the guys to be left out, even though real men wear pink, but we thought maybe those were a little too feminine. They have come up with this great new shirt that I know everybody's going to want to buy. It says, I am Death Valley. And one of our good friends came up with this idea, and the proceeds from this shirt are also going to go to breast cancer awareness, to our foundation, to help. And this is kind of, Dabo could probably explain better, but we just felt like, well, I didn't come up with the idea, but wearing this, that's what it's all about. I mean, in the Valley, if you have one of these on, you are Death Valley. Our fans are Death Valley. So we just thought these were really cool, and I think Rich Davies and Chris Bandy and them came up with this, and so they're going to give us part of the proceeds to our foundation. So those guys out there, go get those today or online at Tigertown Graphics. And again, if you can't get out, all you got to do is text Dabo, D-A-B-O, to 41444 to help donate any amount. And we just appreciate it. And thank y'all so much for having me. Go Tigers! You want that, babe?
That's great. All right. Well, the answer is yes. She has been that way her entire life. I know you're wondering. I'm just telling you. I've known her since the first grade. I was second grade. She was first grade. And she's been Kath her whole life. She is the sweetest person I've ever known and continues to be that way. So anyway, it was good for her to start off because nobody can say it quite like she can. So appreciate all that everybody's doing to help us. This is a special week, again, as she said. And our foundation has gotten into the modern times. You can actually text now. So that's pretty cool, but appreciate everybody's support. And these are really cool. Rich Davies actually, I think, came up with the idea, and it's kind of like, I guess, the back of a helmet, kind of like you got, I am Death Valley, and it's pretty neat. So, Phil, this might be your size. This might fit you just right. So, you might get the first one. Yeah. Those are great. Those are great. And speaking of I Am Death Valley, we're excited to be back at Death Valley this week and be at home. Looking forward to that. I'm glad it's a Tuesday. It's like really a Tuesday today, so that's a good thing. But it's homecoming, and I always enjoy this week. In fact, I rode by Sunday down main part of campus there over by Bowman, and just looking at all the stuff, the pylons going in the ground, the habitat home being built, all the students out there with the scaffolding going up and the floats. It's really a fun time. You can just feel the energy on campus every year, and the planning that goes into it. It's not like they just start planning this week. There is an enormous amount of planning that goes into building those floats and all the stuff that Central Spirit does here on campus. We have a wonderful organization called Central Spirit that really is kind of part of the heart and soul of the pageantry of Clemson. So it's always a fun time. We got a big challenge with NC State, and a team that we really kind of, as we've gotten dialed in on here the past few days, very impressed with. Biggest thing is they've got 17 starters back. Got 8 back on defense and 9 back on offense. So this is a veteran football team. And when you look at their defense, they're not just starters back. They're all seniors and juniors. And then offensively, they got 2 or 3 graduates. So, their quarterback is a transfer from Boise State. So this is a veteran team that I think is playing well. They're playing with a lot of confidence, obviously coming off a big win over Notre Dame. I think this is the best team that Coach Doran has had. Just, again, the experience, a few recruiting classes in there, and kind of getting the philosophy of their program in place. I think they do an excellent job. And the biggest thing this week is, there's only 2 undefeated teams in our division, and we'll be battling for that first spot this week. And so big challenge. Somebody's gonna leave Saturday afternoon in control of their destiny, and somebody's not. So Both teams want the same thing. Both teams want to win the division. So this is a championship caliber type of game this week in the Valley, and we're looking forward to participating in it. Offensively, they're averaging 400 and something yards a game, 34 points a game. They brought in a new OC from Boise State, new offensive line coach as well, came over from App State. And the quarterback from Boise graduated and transferred to NC State. So very familiar with what they're doing. I'm impressed with what they're doing system-wise. They want to run the football, first of all. That's what they want to hang their hat on. But a lot of good complementary plays that come off of what they're doing. A lot of formations and personnel groupings and speed motions and things like that. So just very impressed. The quarterback is 4th in the country in completion percentage right now. He's thrown 9 touchdowns, has 0 interceptions. So he's been very accurate, very efficient, and, again, knows their system inside and out. So good football player that's playing really well for them. Their running back, we're all familiar with 21. He's I think top 15 or so in the country in rushing right now, averaging 113 a game. He's a very good running back. He's tough. He's a guy that really could play anywhere, no doubt about it. And then their offensive line is athletic. They're physical. They've added a couple of big receivers to their core this year to go along with number 7, number 13, who are 2 excellent receivers. Hines is one of the kids that we recruited here at Clemson. And he's a kid that took a kick back to the house on us last year. He's a really fast guy. So he and 13, very good players. But then they've gone out and added a couple of 6'2 plus guys to that core with 12 and number 3. So I think they're doing a good job with their receivers. Big tight ends. Every time we play NC State, they always have these big tight ends. That hasn't changed. But the guy that I don't really even know what to call him. Is he a running back? Is he a receiver? Is he a tight end? Is he a fullback? And that's number 1, Samuel's kid. He's a great football player. He really is, and they use him in a lot of ways. I don't. Again, it's hard to really classify him. You know, he's kind of a tweener in a lot of different positions, but man, oh man, he can run it. He can catch it. He blocks. I mean, he does everything for them. So he leads them in touchdowns, leads them in receptions. Very, very dynamic player that hurt us last year too. In fact, we did not play well. It's probably our worst game defensively last year was against these guys. We gave up 41 points. Had a bunch of opportunities to get the quarterback on the ground last year, and we could not tackle him. Had some chunk plays that we gave up, but he is a very good player. So big challenge for us there. And then defensively, they're 8th in total defense. They're 8th in rush defense. They're 15th in scoring defense. So another good defense. I think this is this and Auburn are the 2 best fronts, just D-line fronts that we've seen. A very good group up front here. Very active. They've got good quality depth. Got a couple guys that we recruited hard here. So very familiar with them. And again, they've got 8 starters back. So a very good group over there as well on defense. Special teams, their punter leads the ACC in 46 yards a punt. I think he's only had 1 punt returned all year, I believe. So, big challenge for our teams there. And then we were very poor in this game in special teams last year. Gave up a kick return, gave up another couple of returns where they got some chunk yards and good starting field positions on us. So, their returner, number 7 and number 13, these are 2 guys we're very familiar with that hurt us last year. So, it's a big challenge, and again, one we're looking forward to. And the big thing I would say, and again, going back to this shirt, I am Death Valley. I love that. I hadn't seen that till today, but I think that's great because our fans are Death Valley. There is no Death Valley without our fans, and the standard has kind of been set high here, and I know there's a lot of people out there, or some people out there that aren't happy with playing a noon game, and we don't have any control over that. Sometimes I think people don't understand that. I love night games too, but we don't have any control over that. That's what I tell our players. We got to play great whenever we play. We play at noon, 3, 8, 9, 1 in the morning. We got to play great. That's what we're supposed to do. And I would say the same thing to our fans because they make such a huge difference. I mean, a huge difference. We started the game out against Louisville with 2 penalties in a row, right out of the gate. So my message to the fans this week is that same fervor and intensity and will to win and spirit that we had at 12 midnight against Louisville, we needed at 12 noon against NC State, because this is a huge game. It's a huge game. It's a battle for first place in our division, and gives us an opportunity to try to get to 7-0 and stay on course to accomplish our next goal, and that's win this division. That's what we got to do. We got to try to find a way to win the division so that we can have an opportunity to go and play for the ACC championship. And we don't get many home games, so I just want to challenge our fans to, let's show up, let's be ready. And man, let's get up and eat a biscuit and be ready to roll at high noon, and because our team's going to be ready, and we need that energy from our crowd for sure, and that challenge. So with that, I'll take your questions.
Coach, how I guess excited are you maybe just to get into the rhythm of this season after Thursdays, Fridays, 9 o'clocks, everything? It seems now you can kind of just sort of hit that stride in the second half. Yeah,
no question. Like I said, I'm glad today's Tuesday. We've had a lot of stuff, and there's some other things y'all don't know about where we've had to tweak practices because of departmental tests. That they're not in their class time. They do it outside of class, and so it comes in our block, and so now we're having to adjust and do things differently. And there's been a lot of that to go along with the change of schedule. But again, proud of our guys for how they've handled it. But I think we're in a great spot. Obviously, we hope to be 6-0 at this point, and that's where we are. We got 3 road wins. I think we're the only team that's got FBS teams that's got 3 road wins. Power 5 that's got 3 road wins, and so that's hard to do. And so I'm proud of our guys. I think we're a team that's been getting better as we've played through the season, which is something that you like to see as a coach. But I think the other big thing for us is as we go into Game 7, we've got an open date next week. So we're starting to get some guys back that have been out. We're going to get Renfro back. We're getting Jalen back, we think, this week. We got Austin back. Baker is close. So we're in a good spot from a health standpoint with an open date next week, and then you come back and you got 5 weeks to the finish line. Whereas last year we had 10 straight games, and it was a real challenge. I really felt like we kind of limped through the finish line, if you will, defensively, especially because we were top heavy. We had a good first group and just a very inexperienced second group. So I think the schedule's good, and hopefully we can get in a good rhythm to finish strong.
When you get players back like Hunter, like Jalen, like Adrian Baker, Austin Bryant, I realize it might be case-by-case basis, but how do you go about reintegrating them to the lineup and just not disrupting already the rotation that's been?
Yeah, they got to go compete just like everybody else. I mean, there's no entitlement. It depends on the situation, case by case. Sometimes you get a guy back, and boy, the guy that's been playing has been struggling. And it's, man, okay, thank goodness we got this guy back. Sometimes you get a guy back, but this guy's been playing really, really well, and so you integrate it a little bit differently. You can bring guys back at a little bit healthier pace. So, it is a case-by-case thing. I mean, Hunter has been practicing every day. So Hunter, his injury was kind of unique because he's been catching the ball every day. He's been running routes every day. He's done man-to-man every day. He just hasn't been cleared to go play in the games because, he like I said, he could not tuck the ball. And So he's as game ready as anybody can be because, like I said, he's been practicing. Austin was a little different because now he's last week was big for him because he really got a full week of practice and really pushing through and kind of getting back into some football shape because his injury was a lot different with his foot. Same thing with Jalen, because his was his knee. But you just get them back and see where they are and throw them into practice, and you play the best guys. That's just what we do at every position.
With the sheer amount of big plays you were able to hit Saturday, what does that kind of mean for the team moving forward, and maybe even what does it mean for what defensive coordinators have to look at in defending you moving forward?
Well, I think the big plays have come off being able to run the football. I think that's ultimately the key to us. We've got to be able to run the football, and then we have to catch the ball. We missed a lot of big plays in the first 2 games of the year, and all of a sudden I'm fielding all kind of questions around here. What's wrong with the offense? There ain't nothing wrong with the offense. We need to catch the ball, and you have 12 drops in 2 games. It affects everything. And now all of a sudden we're throwing and catching a little bit better, and the big plays are there. But the running game, it's hard to when you're not throwing and catching well, it's hard to get the running game like you need it to be. But we're just complimenting each other, playing better, better rhythm, and that's who we are. We're an explosive offense that can attack in a lot of different ways. We've got a good offensive line. We've got a great quarterback. We've got good receivers. We've got good tight ends. We've got good running backs. And when we're doing what we're supposed to do, especially up front, and being able to establish things and run the ball, it sets all those other things up. And then when we get those one-on-one situations, we've got to make the plays that are there. So we've just gotten a lot better. We had 1 drop last week. It was on the first drive. Mike dropped the little bang 8. And but we came back and made plays the rest of the game, and it just creates that rhythm and that tempo that we like to play with. But we ain't getting as many plays because, like I said, we've been scoring so fast the last 2 games. So I'm pleased with the explosiveness, and hopefully we can continue to add that to the grind out running game.
Coach, you mentioned Jalen Williams was ahead of schedule with his recovery last week. I'm assuming he's not going to play this week, but are you hopeful he'll be back for Florida State? Oh,
he's definitely going to be back. Like I said, I think he's going to be released this week. He's practicing in green. Practiced in green last night. They got him in green again today, so he'll go full speed today in pads. So I think he's. I don't know what the word is. Probable, maybe, for this week. Now, whether or not we play him or not, that's a different deal. But I think that he's very probable.
Does the bye week following affect any decisions on maybe guys?
Not really. I think we're just trying to win this game. Whatever we got to do to win this game, whoever we got to play. Whatever we got to do schematically to try to win, that's all we focus on. And then, after that, it's good to have a little time for some of these guys to heal up even more.
How much more dangerous has this team become with the confidence they're starting to gain, it seems like, on offense? When you go from week 1 where it seemed like the sky was falling to some, and now where they seem to be torching the skies?
Yeah, I know. It wasn't good to beat Auburn at Auburn, was it? That was not a good win. They're pretty good. I don't think Troy's had many losses either, have they?
They don't have any of them.
They're pretty solid too. And then when you don't throw and catch very well, it's just the way it is. But wins are big, and I think for our team, for us, we want to be a 3-headed monster. We want to be a team that can beat you offense, defense, and special teams, and I think we've done that this year. We've not always put all 3 together, but we've demonstrated that we can win in 3 different ways, and I think that's what makes us dangerous more than anything. And then these guys are hungry. I thought we played our best game Friday night up in Boston, put a lot of good things together. And when our defense is playing with the consistency that they're playing with and giving the offense the ball to an offense that's playing with a lot of confidence, and then special teams creating field position, just like our punt team the other night. First we go out there and put them on the 1 yard line, or back them way up there. I mean, it's just a lot of good things that I'm seeing. We got a lot we got to improve on. We got a lot of mistakes still, making some dumb plays, things that can cost you ball games. Just like the other night, we had a couple mistakes that were very frustrating. Okay, it wasn't a big deal in that game, but you never know what the one play is that could make the difference. So we got a lot of things that we can improve on, but I like how they're working. I like how they show up. They prepare. We're doing a great job defensively. We're third in the country in plays of 30 yards or more. Last year we were really poor in that area, and so the areas that I really wanted us to get better, we've done that in the first half of the season. But we all know there's nothing less important than the score at halftime, right? It just didn't. I mean, the season we got a long way to go, and so we're coaching our tails off, trying to find a way to get to 7-0, and then we'll go from there.
Coach, speaking of areas of improvement, last year you were 115th in kickoff coverage. You're currently number 5. You were actually number 1 going into last week. I know Coach Venables and Coach Hobby have worked a lot on that. But who are some of the guys, some of the players who have really contributed to that, other than Ewell getting better distance on his kickoffs?
Yeah, same 2 coaches we had coaching it last year, Coach Hobby and Coach Venables. So really nothing's different from a coaching standpoint. But I think our guys are taking a lot more pride in what I think they understand how a play can change a game, and especially after last year. So I think the pride that the guys have taken, the ownership that they've taken, we've worked really hard, and then we've got some guys that got some good experience last year that are mixed in with a couple of really talented young guys like Skowski, who has made a huge difference for us. Getting a guy like Muse to blend it in with the Vans and the Jadars and the Dorian O'Daniels and J.D. Davis. J.D.'s doing a phenomenal job. We've just got a good mixture. Chad Smith has emerged in there. Ben was the leader of the group, and then when he got his ankle rolled, Chad really has earned our confidence there and has done a great job in that spot. So it's a group that's taken a lot of pride in what they're doing, and so, hopefully that will continue.
How has Tavian Feaster handled going from a star in high school to limited opportunities as a freshman?
He's great. I mean, we don't have a guy with a better attitude on the team than Feaster. He's just come in and worked. He's kept his mouth shut. He's grinded. Really proud of him. He's a very low maintenance player. Doesn't demand a lot of attention or anything like that. He just shows up. You don't ever hear him. He just works, and I love that. He's got great respect for the veterans and the areas that he needs to improve. But he has really made great progress since our camp, and got a bright future.
Ben spoke yesterday. You seemed pretty bothered at any notion that he's a dirty player. Have you had to handle his emotions when he hears that or has to deal with situations like the other night?
No, not at all. He's a great football player. A great player. Ain't nothing dirty about Ben Boulware except that beard he's got. That's pretty nasty.
As far as just the new era of targeting calls and how they're teaching tackling, is that difficult for really any of these guys who might have been taught differently when they were?
Well, I think it's a good rule because there's some of those things that just shouldn't be in the game. I mean, and I think most of the time they get it right. There was a couple. I was watching a game the other night. There was one that was just obvious. There was another one that I thought was good, and then there was one that I'm like, I thought it was the worst call I've ever seen. I don't know how you would even coach the guy to do it any better than what he did. It's not. I don't really have a problem with the flag. I think it's just like the one with Ben up there. I'm like, what did y'all even see? You know, he hit him with his hands. He hit him in the shoulder. It was just a violent hit. You know, it's a violent game. This is a violent game of explosive power. And but I think, you know, they're going to err on the side of caution and throw the flag, which is fine. But we got to get it right with the replay. And I've seen a couple of the replay that I don't understand. But for the most part, I think they've gotten it right across the country, and I think it's a good rule because, again, there's some of those hits that they just shouldn't be a part of the game. It's just that simple. So.
Yeah, but with Tavian, how close is he to maybe getting a few more opportunities?
He's battling every day. You just got to be ready. You never know. Never know when your number's going to get called. Like I said, he's got a pretty good player in front of him. Wayne only had 9 carries the other night, 100 and something yards. So we got a lot of good players that deserve opportunity to play, and he just got to be ready and keep working and take advantage of his opportunities.
Coach Scott talked yesterday about challenging this team to define itself and not lingering in the past at all with last year. What have you seen from this team as you're halfway through the season in terms of defining themselves?
Yeah, they're not. This team they're not focused on last year. You know, they're focused on. I mean, they've learned from last year, but they're focused on and I think they're applying lessons from last year, which is what you try to do as a person. You try to get better each and every year. But this is the 2016 team. This is a 2016 journey. And, they are where they wanted to be. They're not satisfied. They know that we've got a lot of areas that we can improve upon. And that's what our focus is. I love this team. I mean, they're easy to coach, and they have been from day one. From day one when we got back and started over back in January. I mean, they have been locked in a very competitive group. And I think right now our team's we're starting to develop some guys in a little bit more depth. Guys are starting to get a little more confidence, which bodes well for us the second half of the season. But they're just dialed in, they know this team, I think, has a great understanding of what it takes. And the leadership has been tremendous. And I think that they truly have bought into what we got to do on a daily basis. I mean, we just got to have a great day today and just try to find a way to win this game. And that's the approach that they've taken, and that's why we've been consistent.
Dabo, for Morgan, 6 games in, what's the appraisal of his season so far?
Played awful at Boston. The worst game he's played probably ever, maybe even since Pee Wee. I was very disappointed in how he played up there, but he's a heck of a football player. We don't have a more talented guy than Frew, and we don't have a more committed guy or a guy that cares more. So he'll respond. He'll probably play his best game this week, but he did not play well up there. Did a poor job with his technique, and overset, got beat inside, and then was slow to set, got beat over the top. So he had a couple of 3 or 4 bad plays that he did a lot of good things too. He's physical in the run game. He's everything you want. I mean, he really is. You got to understand he's a first-time starter. He started 6 games in his career here, and going to be a great player, man. But again, what I care about is how guys respond, and nobody has more pride in their performance than Jake. That I know. So, hey, coach him, point out his mistakes. Let's go get better. And I don't really have to worry about him because I know he will. He'll probably come back and have his best game of the year this week because that's just who he is. That's his DNA. But did not play well the other night. But he's done a good job for us over the course of the season. That's for sure.
Your staff always talks about how you challenge them to get better as well. What are some areas that they've learned from last year to this year?
Lots of areas. I mean, that's what we do in the off season. We study ourselves. We study all of our quality control, what went good, what went bad, what were the disasters, and then we try to get better from there. I mean, it's whether it's individually, maybe how we're coaching things, teaching things, drills, techniques, those type of stuff that we apply to our practices. Sometimes it's just, certain guys going and studying with somebody else to get better, sharpen up a little bit. So all those guys, and me too, we're all the same. I mean, we're all just trying to improve each and every year. But specifically, you'd have to ask them that. But I love our staff, and because that's the mentality that we have. We don't just say, well, it worked last year, let's do it this year. That's not the mentality that we have. Some things, that's good, but we always question it. All right, well, this is what we do. Is it still the right way, the best way, or do we need to change? And we've got a staff that's not afraid to change when we need to, but we're very committed and believe in what we do.
Coach, coming off your best game of the season, as you said, how do you challenge the team, the staff, everybody to be better, to continue to get that standard to rise this week? Just
every day, and how you talk to them. That's what we do. Every day, try to challenge them in a different way. I think that's the art of coaching. Is continuing to get a group of people to buy into what you're doing and to not be satisfied. To continue to strive to get better. So you point out the areas that you need to improve. I think you articulate what the goal of the day is, and then hold everybody accountable to that, and keep everybody's eyes on the main thing. So just locked in and focused on what we're trying to do in the here and now.
Coach, what's the key to rattling a quarterback who you pointed out is very efficient and protects the football?
Well, number one, hopefully our crowd will show up and create the type of atmosphere that we're blessed to have here at Death Valley. But you gotta win up front. You got to create a new line of scrimmage. You got to defeat blocks. You got to disrupt everything. You can't let a guy be. You got a guy that's fourth in the country in completion percentage and no interceptions. He's probably been pretty comfortable back there. So you gotta make him uncomfortable. And so that goes right to your. There's certain things schematically you can do as far as bringing pressure and things like that. But at the end of the day, you gotta dominate the guy in front of you, and without having to bring extra people. Let's create pressure and make the quarterback uncomfortable. Make him have to throw off different launch points. Make him have to move, disrupt timing in the passing game with the receivers. So there's a lot of things that you try to do. Trying to do it and getting it done is two different things. And to this point, not many people have been able to do that to this group.
Coach, we're about a month removed from when Deshaun kind of came out and apologized, whether he needed to or not, for having some negative energy. Have you noticed the last few weeks, has he been playing with having more fun and maybe playing freer of any outside distractions, do you think?
He's been great. Yeah, I didn't think he was bad then. I just think he was frustrated because we had 12 drops in 2 games and 4 touchdowns. I think that was the stem, and I think he let that affect him and got frustrated with it. But he's been great all year. He missed a few throws here and there. He's a human being in a new season. Just he's not perfect, but he's no question these last few games really since the fourth quarter of the Troy game, we've just kind of taken off and gotten going. And so I've been really pleased with how he's playing. Had an excellent night up there the other night, and he's a guy he's going to have some moments where he makes a bad play or something, but he just keeps coming. He's such a great winner. And you look at the Louisville game, that's a perfect example. We have the bad interception down there in the red zone. Then he fumbles the ball in the run, but he just keeps coming back. But then you need a score with 30 seconds, and here you go. You need an 85-yard drive to go win the game, and here you go. So he's just having a heck of a year. He's a great football player. He's leading our guys. He's putting everything he's got into every game plan as far as preparation. He has complete ownership of what we're doing out there. He understands when things break down and why. But he's hitting his stride, and he's having a lot of fun doing it.
Dabo, how's Mike's hamstring?
He's good. He's getting better. We'll see him out there today, and just kind of taking it easy with him here for these first couple of days. But I don't think it's very serious.
Everybody expected Clemson to be good this year, but from your perspective, what's it like to look at the polls and see 4 of their ACC teams in the top 17?
I think it's great, and I don't know who all is in there. Who all they got in there? Us and
Miami, Virginia Tech, Florida State.
Virginia Tech,
yeah, and I got North Carolina in there still too. So there's 5 in my poll because I think they're a pretty good football team as well. I just think it's what I've been saying for the last few years. This league is a tough league. It's a really tough league. I think it's played out in the out-of-conference games. It's played out in the big bowl games. It's played out in the playoff and the national championship appearances over the last few years. And it's played out in the NFL draft. It's played out in the big college awards. You look at the recipients of those awards. So, I just think, and then the coaches in this league, it's a tremendous group of coaches. In fact, when I was at the meetings back in the spring. I'm looking around that room. There's a lot of great football coaches. I don't think anybody's excited when they look at their schedule and see they're playing an ACC team. And I think that everybody within our conference understands that and has understood that. But it's a great league. There's no question about it. A bunch of good football. You better bring it every single week. I really believe anybody can beat anybody within this league.
Is this the best this league has been, do you think?
I don't know. I don't know. Other people have to, answer that. We've got 14 teams. It's most teams we've ever had. But it's a hard league. Back in the day, would they have 8 teams? Eight teams? Now you got 14, almost twice the size. There's a lot of good teams in this league, a lot of good teams. And you look at what Coach Rick's doing down there at Miami. I think Bronco's going to get them going up there at Virginia. Justin, man, I've always had great respect for Justin at VTech now. He's a heck of a football coach, and he's got them heading in the right direction as well. Dino's a great football coach. He'll get them going up there at Syracuse. So Petrino and what he's done at Louisville. So it's a tough league, man. It really is. We got a bunch of good players and good coaches, and it's a great academic league as well. I think it's separates itself from the pack when you put the whole package together.
Anybody got anything else? Thank you, Coach.
All right, thank you.